What makes a perfect boss? Now, you and I both know there isn't one. There's no possible way there could be a perfect boss. It's just physically not possible. Every boss will have some sort of Achilles heel as a weakness, whether it be their people skills or their ability to keep up to date with the times. But for the sake of the question, I will speak over the hypothetical of what if there was a perfect boss and what would they need to have? First thing I think they would need would be the ability to keep growing as a manager, to keep growing your skill set, to keep growing your knowledge of how to run everything. No one is born with knowledge of a manager, and there's not a lot of college level courses teaching specifically how to be a manager. That is one of the big things you learn on the job. Of course, you can always research on your own time, which would be great, but sometimes it might just be best to learn on the job. The next thing I think would be a ability to help the team grow for what is needed and the ability to hire the right people. Just because your team is full, it does not mean it is working at its best. You could have wrong people for wrong things, or some people just don't work well with the job you've given them sometimes. Sometimes you just find a better fit for a job and you think you'll be more efficient overall, and you might sometimes have to do hard decisions like that. But what can you do? Another thing I think it would be the ability to keep your team both happy and satisfied with working conditions, pay, you know, work culture, all of that you would have to almost certainly balance as well. Along with that, the ability to be able to keep up with the times with technology almost, to stay on the other end of the curve and try to make use of all technology as it releases, because at this stage technology is so important and advancing so quickly, it would become a hindrance if you didn't almost. And then I think one other big thing is willing to take risks on said technology, because a lot of the time technology might not be proven of a thing, but say you take a risk on it and it works out completely well. You get ahead of the curve on some big new technology. That's great. That's fantastic. And if it doesn't, and it doesn't end up being anything all that major, well, I mean, you can always still use the technology as long as it helps you get the job done efficiently. And then I think one other thing that might a lot of people might not really think about would be the ability to learn about your team itself, know how they work, how what they work well with, what they work well on, who works well together. All that would, I believe, hopefully make what many could consider a perfect boss.